Will you wake up faster using ayahuasca or mushrooms or acid, or insert your sacred drug of choice here? Will taking a substance and ingesting it and going on a journey facilitate and quicken the awakening process? That's what I want to explore here. My answer is no. But then for all of you beautiful beings who've said, Jasmine, not true, I've done it and it has facilitated the awakening process, then my answer for you is yes, because I'm not here to argue. And I wouldn't even pretend that I could predict whatever this individual experiences you're having, despite you not being an individual cut off from the whole, and whatever your catalyst needs to be to unwind from a sense of you separate from all of life. But let me tell you, hang out for a while and see if you can gel with this. Let me tell you why my answer is no. You do not need to ingest a drug in order to facilitate or quicken the awakening process. This was inspired by a couple of patients that I sat with in my psychotherapy practice. Beautiful beings. I love them. One patient who isn't necessarily looking to unbind from a sense of I, separate from all of life, but it doesn't matter. Truth takes care of everything, and we stumbled into that anyway when we looked at her basement beliefs. Some people call them core wounds that were running the show of her life, and sort of how she was sowing the seeds of her own suffering. And when we started to get to sort of truth with a capital T, I mean, she was experiencing it, she was naming it, she felt like she stumbled upon it. It was so beautiful. Suddenly she had this big aha, and then she looked at me and said, oh my gosh, do I need to do mushrooms or acid? Is that what I should do now? And it was wonderful because it was her coming to, arising, awaking from some sort of dream where she was just not aware of reality and what she was doing and saying, right? Self-deception is like thick walls. It's foggy, the way we wrap ourselves in self-deception. And so her immediate thought was, maybe I can do some drugs so that the message coming through now will be clearer or stronger, or like that will help me. And what I told her, and I'll tell you it now, I said, if a therapist is worth their salt, or if the time we're taking here together is useful, then we are the drug. This is the drug. And ultimately, it's because it reminds you, you recognize that you are the drug. There's no drug you have to take, and whatever you're taking that wakes you up actually wakes up what's here now always. If it's out there, then it can't be here. So if you had to take a drug to awaken, you're never going to awaken because then it's not here, okay? Now, the other patient who I sat with this morning, oh, so beautiful. She happens to enjoy ayahuasca from time to time. It really helps her expand her mind. That's great. I'm not here to take anyone's drugs or awakening pastimes from them. Recently she was invited for a ceremony, and she'd agreed, and then sort of a few days before she said, actually, you know what, I think I'm going to sit this one out. I'm not going to do it. And so we explored what was coming up in her mind about going or not going, and just sort of like the ins and outs of what it was she wanted from that ayahuasca ceremony. It wouldn't have been her first. No doubt it's not her last. Totally fine. And so I asked, what is it you want to get from this plant? She said, well, it's a quicker way to see more clearly, to get out of my own way. It expands the consciousness so I can perceive what's here. Now, these are my words. I'm paraphrasing, both to protect her beautiful privacy and also because, she's speaking quickly. I'm writing. Okay, so the way I heard it was, it's a shortcut to freedom. It's a shortcut to freedom. Who doesn't want freedom? Hello, can I order that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? That's all I want. Because it's what I am, right? So we all want the same things, and we clothe that want and desire in a new car, a new relationship, a new best friend, a new home, a new whatever, right? But at the heart of it, it's freedom, which is peace with all that is, no matter what is arising and falling away. So it's a shortcut to freedom, okay? And for her, it feels like more of a direct path. And I said, why? What does it get you directly to, right? And she said, well, it's like there's this resistance. And sometimes when I'm going through the process And finding gems, it feels like that's sped up when I'm doing the ayahuasca, when the plant shows me and reveals things, right? There's these gems. And and in other times in my quote unquote daily normal life, I'm resisting that. I don't want to slow down. I don't want to hear the message. The message isn't coming through clearly, right? So I said to her, and I'll say to you now if you're listening, I do not want to rain on your sacred plant parade. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to join with you and understand, because whatever message is coming through, if those plants are effective for you, it's the same message that comes through all the time from truth. So in that, we are joined. We are joined. Ram Dass has this beautiful expression. He says, when you get the message, hang up the phone. And this is often what I'll cite when I'm talking with someone who goes in and out of ceremony with psychoactive substances in order to taste that freedom and those messages that come through. Fine. Call in as many times as you need to get the message. But when you get the message, hang up the phone. And this is why. You do not want to now get a new hook or belief that something outside of you is going to bring you deeper into here. Here is here all the time. Truth is. And if you think now it's the ayahuasca that has the magical property, or it's the mushrooms or the acid, or I don't know what the kids these days are doing, probably all sorts of things I don't have names for, then you're always going to have that niggling little feeling, that little angst about life, just as it's served, that something's off and you need to go somewhere else to get the deeper message, the deeper happiness, the deeper peace, that sense of freedom, okay? But that's not true. You will be running like a rat on a wheel, like a hamster on a wheel, until you hit the casket, okay? Because there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. Now, does it help some folks to go through the vehicle of drugs in order to get that spark and that sense of freedom, and then that sort of directs their path? Maybe. Amazing if that's you. I'm happy for you. Some people also get some little brain, my words are failing me right now. They get a little fried. Either because they visited drugland too much, or because actually it's for their specific unbinding and for their physiology, what have you, it wasn't the right catalyst. And so to those folks, I say, give yourself a lot of grace and love, and know that you are the drug, okay? You are the drug. And so here's what I want to propose about this. Will it wake you up faster? No, because what we wake up to is always here. Will it remind you in some sort of potent flow state of orgasmic dopamine rush of truth in that moment, what truth is that's always here? Maybe. If there's some good drugs, it will. However, here's the deal. I'll return to what my patient said today. Something in her day-to-day life, i.e. outside of the ayahuasca ceremony, keeps her from really slowing down and tapping into what the message is. Okay, there's a resistance there. Okay, and so notice how the mind, or the story of I, separation from life, the me project, will come back online in that time outside the ayahuasca ceremony. Okay, maybe it'll take a day, maybe 2 weeks, maybe if it was like a delicious transformation, 2 months, 2 years. But that sense of I will come back online, okay? And more often than not, it's pretty soon. Pretty soon you're back into your habits, your TV watching habits, your surface conversation habits, whatever the habits are. It doesn't matter. Don't want to hate on anyone's habits. And that sense of I will come back online, and it will distract you from whatever the message was that you got and you sought from doing the drug, okay? And now what happens is we'll have spiritual life where we go to seek the truth outside of ourselves via the plants. And then we'll have what you call my life. And the dissonance between that, very uncomfortable. It's fodder for suffering. And we'll have you running back to the message. However, we need to be with mind that co-ops, okay? That co-ops whatever that message is, and look hard at those beliefs. What do I mean by that? If we do not slow down enough to be with what you might call ordinary, everyday mind, not in the ayahuasca ceremony, and say, what is going on here? I mean, I got the message. It went in deep. I took the drugs. Like, I had the ceremony. I feel sacred. I'm sacred now. I'm spiritual. The message was revealed. But somehow mind has gone to sleep again. And if I keep running back to get the message, but I'm not actually integrating it and embodying it, right? That's that cool word, embodying it. Here, now, lived out, it's living me. It's the highest message that truth could deliver. And it's delivering me from a sense of myself, which is suffering and distancing and separation from life. If we are not able to integrate it, then what are we doing? We're going in a loop. We're running for something outside ourselves to deliver us that shortcut to freedom, okay? So that's why my answer is no. You will not wake up faster with mushrooms or ayahuasca. No, you don't need mushrooms or ayahuasca or acid or insert your drug of choice here to wake up from suffering, all suffering in what you call this life. You don't. If you utilize it for that and it becomes a pointer and you eventually hang up the phone and you start looking at what is distracting me from something that was so profound and deep and clear that it was the message from the plant, and yet it's like mind has gone somewhere else in my quote unquote daily normal life. What is that? Let's look there. Thought world, self-concept, separate self-identity, all of those things come in to take away what it is, that truth that dawned. Let's look there without substances, without anything but the here-ness. Okay, truth takes care of itself. Let's look there and see if truth can dawn in an integrated, embodied way. It might not be as sexy as the ceremony, but I guarantee you will have a lived experience that you are the drug. You are the drug. And who doesn't want delicious, direct experience? That's what we are after. So this is some of the work I do with folks in psychotherapy. I also offer one-on-one wake up now sessions if that's something you're interested in. And isn't it fun? We're all here to wake each other up. Yippee. Much aloha.